Hi students, in previous lesson we managed to make a template. Today we're gonna use that template to draw a new sketch over AutoCAD. This tutorial is targeting the beginners who just started their learning with AutoCAD. So let me show the sketch that we are about to draw. And this one, you can see it's a pretty much an easy, simple sketch that you can learn as a beginner. So here we have two circles and supported by another dovetail rectangular basement. Okay, let's go. So we already explained how to make the template for a standard drawing. Please check my previous video for those information. So let me open the template where you can see we already managed to make an A3 size paper with title block and everything. You can use your mouse, scroll it so that you can zoom in and zoom out. So let me arrange and let's begin. So I want to sketch my drawing in the middle, and I always suggest go back and check your unit. So you go back and units and make sure it is in millimeter. So we already said the template, definitely it will be in millimeter. However, I'm always suggesting you to check this thing before you begin. Okay, everything is set now. Now let's begin with the sketch. So in this tutorial series, I'm not going to explain the use of each and every tools. Instead of that, you will learn AutoCAD through the examples. At the end of this course, you will manage to learn most of the tools and how you can manipulate the usage of those tools. Hopefully you will learn the AutoCAD at the end. From there, you can develop yourself. Cut the introduction, let's begin with the drawing. So whenever you're seeing a sketch, you have to make sure from where you will begin and the way that you're going to start the drawing and end the drawing and how you're going to propagate. You have to plan about the drawing. So even for this simple sketch, I have a plan. For me, I can see a rectangle over here. I'm going to draw that rectangle first and then these two circles. I have a circle here, circle number 1, and another circle. Let me call it as circle number 2. And there is a tangent line connecting the circle and the corner of this rectangle. So let's begin. Let's start with the rectangle. And here you can see the dimensions for the rectangle. The height is 25 millimeter and the length is 100 millimeter. So it looks like 1001, it's actually 100. Okay, please consider it as 100 millimeter. So let's begin. So whenever you want to draw a geometry, just check over here. Here you can see there is circle, there is line, there is polyline, and we can choose this one, rectangle. And here you can see if you want to make a polygon, there is another option, but as now, let's choose rectangle. Okay, once you got the rectangle, it's asking you to specify first corner. As I always have a look at what it is asking on the pointer. So let me begin with this corner. I specify the first corner of my rectangle, and for the next corner, you need the dimension. So just go and check. You can see 25 and 100. So in AutoCAD, you always put x-axis first. So 100 is the x-axis length, and comma, you hit comma to get into next tab, that is the y coordinates, and this will be 25. So let me enter 25 and enter. So that's it, easy. We managed to make a rectangle with height 25 and length 100. Once you finish that one, get back. Now what we need to make, we need to make these two circles. So before you start drawing the circle, we need the center of circle so that you can draw the circle as always. So this will be the center of the circle. So the thing is, on AutoCAD, you need to find this point, this center. So it is obvious in this picture, it is 35 millimeter above from the top surface or the top line of that rectangle. From here, you have to plot a point at a distance 35. And it is self-explanatory that this point will be the midpoint of this side. So let me explain how to get that point. To get a point from a 35 millimeter above from the rectangle, I'm going to choose line. Okay, come over here and choose the line. And the thing is, you need to snap a point on the middle of this rectangle. All the time, whenever you need a point, turn on the snapping. You have to turn on all these options as a beginner. This will be perfect for you. and here you can see there is an option called midpoint. If you turned on the midpoint snapping, let me show you what happened. You choose the line and you don't know where to start. So come over here and keep moving this thing. When it reaches the middle, it will show you the middle snapping. You can see the triangle, that green triangle. So when it shows that green triangle, that means that is the midpoint of that line. You can see AutoCAD is showing midpoint. So whenever you see midpoint, click over there and move up. And always remember, if you need this vertical up line, you need to turn on this ortho mode. Otherwise, it's very difficult to get a straight line. This distance, we know that it is 35. So let me enter 35. And now we've managed to make that point. Just hit on escape, let it go. And now we have that point 35 mm above from the rectangle. Now what we need, go back to sketch. You need a circle with diameter 40 millimeter, another circle with diameter 70 millimeter. So whenever you see a circle with a diameter, the symbol phi stands for the diameter. You come over here. When you click, there is many options to draw a circle. So whenever you see the diameter, it's better choose center and diameter. Whenever you see radius, it's better choose center and radius. So in this case, I'm going to choose center and diameter. Choose that one. Come over here. We already snapped the center. And start from here. This should be 40. And enter. And one more circle. The same center. And the diameter is 70. And that's it. Now you can see we managed to make those two circles. And the second circle is just touching that rectangle as seen in our sketch. And now what we need to make, we have to make these tangent on both sides. So to draw a tangent, you have to choose the line. And we know that that line starts from this corner. Just click here and the line is just started. So there is another thing called constraint in AutoCAD, that you need to join a line to the circle and make sure it is a tangent. To do those kind of constraint, the easiest method in AutoCAD, what you can do, hold shift button on your keyboard. Hold the shift button and right click. Now you can see there is number of constraints. Whenever you need to make an endpoint, midpoint, intersection, everything is here. But as now what we need a tangent. You can see that here, tangent. I'm going to choose tangent. Please have a look at this symbol, tangent, and choose tangent. And when you touch the circle, and here you can see it constrained as a tangent. Whenever you see that green tangent symbol, just click. And now you can see the line joined with the circle and it is a tangent. Once you finish, you can click escape. Now it's gone. Take the line again and start from another corner. Come over here, click on shift and right button, choose tangent and join. That's it. Now we managed to make those tangent. Now once you finish, we don't want this line anymore. Let me delete this one. Either you hit delete button or right click, erase it. That's it. So get back to our sketch. Now you can see we managed to make most of the geometry. And the bottom, we have a dovetail joint. So that shape what we call dovetail. And you can see there is a dovetail like structure over here. The thing that I am going to show you is maybe one among many methods that you can follow. Here you can see there is a dimension 50 here, and a 25 on this side and a 50 on this side. Okay, so here I just want to snap this point where we have an inclined line like this. So let me imagine a center line here, a center line. So we are sure that this distance up from center line up to this point will be 25. So we are pretty much sure about that distance will be 25. So from the center toward this side you need 25, and from here there is a line So to get the length of that line, you can use always Pythagoras theorem. But I am not suggesting those analytical method when you are using a graphical software. So it's always, I'm advising it's better use some graphical approach to get these unknown measurements. So let me show you how I'm gonna solve that problem. So from the center, I need a distance 25. So I'm gonna choose line. So as I discussed, if you want the center line, please keep track on this line. Whenever you see this snapping for midpoint, click over there. This distance, we know that it is 25. You type 25, hit enter. Now you can see we are 25 away from the center. Now we don't know the length of that line, but we know one thing, what is the angle. And here it is little tricky. Let me zoom in so that you can see it very clearly. So this angle is given 45 degree. This angle is 45 degree. It's already given. But whenever you're dealing with AutoCAD, AutoCAD always measures angle from positive x-axis in anti-clockwise direction as a default option. If you want, you can change that to clockwise, but I am always suggesting let it be default. AutoCAD will measure angle from the positive x-axis, that is from this angle towards anti-clockwise direction. That means the angle on AutoCAD will be measured in this direction. So we need to know this angle to plot this line at an angle. So from the geometry, it is clearly understood that if we plot a line over here, since this angle is 45, this should be 45. And what about this angle? It's obvious, it will be 90. So the total angle that I plotted over the red line, this angle will be 45 plus 90. 45 plus 90. So what is 45 plus 90? We know that it is 135 degree. That means if you draw a line, start from this point, that is 25 away from the center, at an angle 135, you will get this line. So as now we don't know the length of this line, we will go for a rough length, then later we will fix the final length. Let me show what I'm going to do. So as now we managed to make this point and we don't know this length, but we know the angle. So let me this length as 25. So it's a rough length I choose at the beginning. And if you want to put any angle on AutoCAD, the shortcut for that, you just put less than. You can make less than on your keyboard. Just hold the shift and put that less than symbol on your keyboard. So when you hit less than, AutoCAD will ask you the angle that you need. So as I said, AutoCAD always count the anti-clockwise direction from the positive x-axis, and we know that this angle is 135. So I choose a rough sketch of length, that is 25, and the angle is 135. You enter the angle and enter. Now we managed to make a line at an angle 135. So we finish, just escape. We are done with that one. And now, as I said, you can use geometric method to find the intersection. So now you can see we need this line. And we know that this line is parallel with the bottom edge of your rectangle. So what I'm going to do, we're gonna make a parallel line to the bottom side. So what you can do, you can choose offset and you can draw a line at a distance. And this distance, we know that it is 15. It's marked here 15. So let me draw a line and plot that line here. So we managed to make a line over there and choose offset. And this distance, we know that it is 15. Enter and choose the line, move up. Now it's offset, then click there. So now we managed to make that point. So maybe you got confused why I drew a new line over here, because if you don't draw this line, you will offset the rectangle. So that we don't want. So let me erase this one. Once we are done with that line, we can erase. And we drew another line here. We don't want that one as well. Let me erase that one. Let it go. Now we managed to make this section. Let me trim the remaining. So for the easiest way of trimming, you can choose full geometry, Control A, and choose the trim tool here, and you can trim out this 2 extra length. That's it. Now go back to your sketch. You can see, let me erase these explanations. You can see the geometry over here is symmetric about this axis. That means you need an exact same geometry at the same distance from the axis that I drawn in a red color. If you are in this kind of situation, there is a tool called mirror. So on AutoCAD, there is an option called mirror whenever you want to make a symmetry. So let me explain that one. Whenever you need a mirroring, you need an axis to mirror about. So let me draw an axis here, and we know that that axis should pass us through the midpoint of this rectangle. Let me make that axis. Let it be that, and I'm going to mirror this line about this axis. So just choose this line, and I want to make a mirror. Once you choose that line, choose mirror option, mirror. Now specify the first point of mirror line. So my mirror line will be this axis, because I'm mirroring about this axis. Once you choose the mirror line, it is asking erase the source object. If you hit yes, what's gonna happen? It will erase the original object, but we want the original one and new one. So I'm not going to erase the source object, so I will choose no. So I got the other edge as well, but we have to trim out this one. Again, Control A, choose the trim and trim it out. It's gone. So we are almost done, and this axis, we don't want it anymore. Erase it. Okay, now go back to our sketch. You can see this portion that we need to trim. So come back, Control A, choose the trim. That's it. So we managed to make the drawing. It was easy, and on my next video I will explain how you can mark dimension lines over your sketch. So as now you can see, we managed to make the drawing over the template.